Hey guys, welcome to Nathbet week 6. I can't believe I'm actually saying week 6, but it is week 6. That's how quickly the football turnaround is these days. I'm just on the way to go and watch some baseball. If you are ever looking for a baseball team to support, by the way, Toronto Blue Jays are your team. Get involved. Okay, week 5, quick recap. Really unlucky. We didn't make any profits last week. That's unfortunate. We had a couple of results that really went against us. First of all, Rochdale, who I tipped in the treble. 2-0 at home at half time, happy days. I was thinking, job done. I'd put my feet up, I was counting my profits. Dagenham and Redbridge scored 1 point on the road all season long. Of course, they come back and scored 2 in the second half. It happens, that's football betting, but it was immensely frustrating. I'm sure it was for you too. Also on the double, Manchester City, 1-0 at home at the Eastlands, 10 minutes to go. You think, game, set, match. Well, it wasn't. That's just the nature of the beast, but we move on. Week 6, I've really looked hard this week. I've taken a lot of the Capital One games, cup games in midweek into consideration, see which teams played, which teams were off, which teams played full strength teams, half and half teams, which teams fielded reserve sides altogether, and I think I found some absolute gems this week. Therefore, we are going to up our stakes slightly on the double and the treble. First of all, my tip of the week. I absolutely love this side to win this week. Stoke City play host to Swansea. Really fancy Stoke. They're available at evens. Now, Stoke had a complete week off this week, which should have done Tony Pulis' men the world of good after a busy schedule and international week a couple of weeks ago as well, where he lost quite a few players. On the other hand, Swansea had a difficult long game in midweek. Mishu, who's obviously been the best Swansea player by far so far. He played the full 90 minutes, which was kind of surprising, along with Wayne Routledge, who's had his injury problems as well. They're not going to be fully fit. They're going to be slightly tired going into a game at Stoke where, as you all know, Stoke's an incredibly difficult place to go, as Manchester City found a couple of weeks ago. Stoke also went to Chelsea last weekend, now already lost 1-0, and I think they'll be pumped up. Peter Crouch, Jonathan Walters, not the sexiest of partnerships, if you like, forward partnerships in the Premier League. However, they are incredibly effective. I mean, they've been in the Premier League now for a good 7-8 seasons. They are stalwarts. And that's what they do. They take sides like Swansea, who are struggling. You've seen them, the bubbles burst a little bit there. Okay, they started the season great, but they've gone to the likes of Aston Villa and got beat. They got stuffed by Everton at home. And I just think that they're maybe on the turn there, and maybe it's not going to be as rosy as we all first thought for them. Stoke, like I say, available at evens. They're our first selection this weekend. The second one in the double, Sunderland 6-5 to beat Wigan. Sunderland did have a game in midweek at the MK Dons. There were a couple of players who would probably play on Saturday who were involved. However, Adam Johnson was one of the ones who I was pleased to see come on. He came on for the last 5 minutes, which means to say that Martin O'Neill is probably going to bring him back for this game. However, the likes of Stephen Fletcher, Stefan Sessagon, all available, all fully fit and are ready to go against the Wigan side, who also had a game in midweek. They won and they played pretty much a full-strength side. I just think Wigan, going away to the Stadium of Light, they've been really good as of late, and I think that Martin O'Neill will have them fired up for that one. They're available at 6-5, and I think that double, Stoke and Sunderland, are really, really strong, and that's why we're going to tip you 3 points. 3 points, not 2. 3 points on our double this week. That's available at about 3-1, which is probably one of our highest doubles so far. I just think it's a fantastic price, and I think that it should be your biggest bet of the week. That's available at Bet Victor. Please scroll down underneath me and see. Look at the odds. Look at where you've got accounts opened, and stick them on there. If you haven't got an account opened, Sky Bet, like I said last week, they're still the same this week. Open an account with them. No deposit necessary. £10 free bet. That's like me coming around, knocking on your door now, giving you a free £10 bet, saying nothing, walking away. It's just get involved. Why not? It's not going to cost you anything, maybe 15 seconds of your time. Okay, Stoke Sunderland, 3-point double. On to the treble, and we take a team that I say a little bit of pressure, but they're probably not. Sometimes he puts pressure on himself. Manchester City, they face Fulham. Now, Manchester City have had a difficult week. Well, they've had a difficult month, really. In the league, in the cups, in Europe. Obviously that Real Madrid result was disappointing. They've had a couple of bad results in the league, and the 4-2 extra time loss to Aston Villa at home was bemusing. especially with the team they put out. Surprisingly in that, like say Carlos Tevez played 120 minutes, Mario Balotelli played 120 minutes. However, don't worry too much with a trip to Fulham. You know, Roberto Mancini can recall pretty much a completely different side, and they're going to be probably even better than they put out in midweek. In fact, I'm sure they're going to be better. Sergio Aguero is probably going to start. Oh, I'm sure he's going to start. He'll probably be partnered by Edin Dzeko. You're recalling the likes of Yaya Toure, David Silva, you know, Joe Hart. They're going to be too much for a Fulham side who are they are Jekyll and Hyde pretty much all of the time. But I think even their very best efforts are going to be too little for Manchester City. I don't think they're going to be able to match them. And they're available at 5-6, which with the results is probably a fair price. However, I think that they're going to go there and win well. So Manchester City 5-6 are our first bet in the treble, along with Liverpool. Liverpool, it's incredible to think that we're in week 6 and Liverpool have not got a Premier League win. On the face of it, I mean, it's been a crazy Premier League so far, and I think that's why I'm so delighted that we're in plenty of profit, because West Brom are in the Champions League places, Manchester City aren't even in a Europa Cup place, and Liverpool are in the relegation zone as it is. That's all of those three things aren't going to happen. However, it just shows that we've still managed to make profits when a lot of other tipsters are really, really struggling. Liverpool, though, I fancy them to get their first win this weekend. Brendan Rodgers is under a lot of pressure. The side that they put out in midweek, where they won at West Brom, they completely were a reserve team. There was no one of note who will play on Saturday. And I think a trip to Norwich. Yeah, Norwich again had a difficult game in midweek. And they had not a bad showing at Newcastle. I mean, we tipped Newcastle last week. I fully expected them to win. They did 1-0. I thought they might have won by a little bit greater margin, but they still do the job for us. But I just think Liverpool have too much. They've got to win at some time, and I think that at Norwich on Saturday will be the time where they record their first 3 points. Suarez, Gerrard, with Stephen Kelly injured now, Glenn Johnson's probably going to go to right back. Gives them a bit more structure. I think they struggle with him at left back. I think stability is the key, and Liverpool will have too much for Norwich at the end of the day. Manchester City 5-6, Liverpool 5-6, and the third bet, who came through for us about 3 weeks ago, I think now, Burnley, who faced Millwall. Burnley went out to Swindon. We've tipped Swindon as well before. They're a good side this season, a really good side to watch. If you ever get the chance to see Paolo Di Canio's men, you should go and see them. I'm sure they'll be on Sky Sports at some time soon. That's no disrespect to anyone else, but I really think that they're the top team in that League One. Burnley, like I say, we tipped a couple of weeks ago. They've got plenty of goals in them. Haven't had the start they wanted under Eddie Howe, but they're starting to turn things around. They've won 2 out of the last 3 in the league. They're strong at home. They score goals as well. They've only failed to score once in any game at all this season. Now Millwall, who go to Turf Moor to face Burnley, they did have a good week, I think, about 2 or 3 weeks ago, where they beat Middlesbrough at home 3-0. But on the road, they're pretty poor. And I think Burnley evens is a really good price. Like I say, they score goals. I think they'll have too much for Millwall, and they'll be fired up after going out in the Capital One Cup in midweek. So we tip Burnley. So just to recap that treble: Manchester City, Liverpool, Burnley, 5-6 Manchester City, 5-6 Liverpool, evens Burnley. That's a 5.6 to 1 treble with Bet Victor and Paddy Power. Excuse me. Get involved. That's a 1.5 point treble that I'm tipping this week. Like I said, I really like them, so we're just upping the stakes in the double and the treble. That's a 1.5 point treble this week. Onto the fourfold, and I have 2 teams that I've already tipped. I do this some of the time if I really like them, and that's exactly what I'm doing this week. Manchester City at 5-6 we're including, and Stoke just under evens. You might even get evens on them. Are my 2 strongest tips of the week, and those are the ones that are going into my fourfold, along with Newcastle United. Now Newcastle played Manchester United in midweek. They lost 2-1, but if you look at the Newcastle side on that occasion, they had a complete reserve team out, apart from Papa Cisse, who came off the bench for the last half an hour. He scored, actually, and in a losing effort, but they played pretty well. But like I said, that's irrelevant because none of them will be featuring. They might make the bench, but none of them are going to place Reading away on Saturday. Like I said, they are away, and I just think that Newcastle are going to be too strong. They are probably, I would say, firmly in the top 6 now. Alan Pardew's done a fantastic job. I actually think today he's just signed an 8-year contract, which is quite crazy, seeing as he had 4 years to run. But he's going to be beaming at Reading. Reading, difficult game in midweek. They played pretty much a full strength side. They went away and won 3-2 at QPR. Good result, but it's going to take a lot out of them. Their Premier League form has been really, really poor. And I just think Newcastle with the confidence, with Byron Cisse up front, we've tipped them 3 times I think this year already. We're tipping them again. They've done us proud so far. So I fancied them at 6-4, which is a nice price indeed, to go there and do the business. So Manchester City, Stoke, Newcastle, and our last one, even though we've kept pretty much in the Premier League with one in the Championship so far, we take League Two, basically going on form on this one, Exeter City. They've had a really good start to the season, probably better than most people imagined. They entertained Bristol Rovers, who have been horrendous, especially on the road so far. And it's just too good a price to turn down, really, looking at all the fixtures. Exeter about 10-11 to win this game, and I think that that's the last bet in my fourfold. 15.8, 15.9, just under 16-1 with Bet Victor and Coral for that fourfold. That's still half a point fourfold. It's just the 2 bets, the double and the treble this week, that I'm increasing the stakes slightly. Don't forget, you've got Pete's crazy bet, 6, 7, 8, 9. I don't know how much it is this week, but it came pretty close last week, and one of them will come in this season, I guarantee you. So if you've got a spare 50p, 25p, even a pound if you're feeling fruity, then put that on Pete's long shot. Open these accounts. You don't need to navigate away from the page. Get involved. I really fancy this week. This is one of my strongest tips so far. So if you've got plenty of pounds, then get them on there with Nathbet, and we will see you next week. I'm going to go and see me some baseball. All right, guys, take care. Peace out.